Today on the Daniel Baldwin Show, viewer mail and why has it gotten so very quiet? Coming at you now. Hello and welcome to the Daniel Baldwin Show. Let's go right at it. Today's viewer mail is by John Constantino of Northrop, Virginia. John Constantino, he writes, "Hey DB, what's going on with the East Wing demolition?" Man, I gotta tell you, when there's not a lot to talk about, they can come up with some shit that they make it so relevant and so... Anyway, let's jump right into it. The president has decided he wants to build a ballroom, so he's taking the East Wing of the White House and he's having it demolitioned and building out this beautiful complex to have big functions and stuff at the White House. Sorry. I had to yawn. Who cares? He's the president. He didn't he changed the face of the building or, yeah, it's got some historic value, but we're moving on. He's decided, he's the president. He's going to change it and he's going to make this big, beautiful marble facility for people to come from around the world and meet and enjoy the White House. That's his prerogative. He's the president. Really is like what bothers me about it is how devastated some people are by, the audacity of the president. He's the president. I think most first ladies and most presidents have done things to the interior of the White House, and I don't know if it's as dramatic as changing a wing of the White House, but that's what he did. So, aren't there so much more important things to really worry about, John, than this? The history, Theodore Roosevelt shit in the East Wing once. Okay, well, there'll be lots of future presidents that will shit in the new dance floor area. Watch. So that's that. Today, why is it getting so very, very quiet? Now, I have a theory related to the title, but let me take you, I'm fishing in the reeds right now. See that? See that shiny little thing and you're noticing it? Pretty soon you're going to bite, but let me go from here. The Trump administration news. Senate Democrats again block GOP-backed funding bill. So of course, we're 22 days into not having a government that's being paid for. Traditionally, let's start from the beginning and go back maybe a little bit, as we talked about a couple of times on the show before. This closure, this shutdown, has happened before. I think Obama was 17 or 18 days. He had one. And what he wanted was his Obamacare approved. That's what it was about. So he let it stay closed until they had to get to the negotiating table. And they put the gun to the head of many of the congressmen. And they said, you're going to vote for this or we're going to stay shut down. And he won. Good for him. His healthcare thing I thought sucked. But he got it through. He used this technique. This is a technique that's being used. Please understand that. Please, any Democrats that lie, I'm listening to Jeffries just go on, and this will bring them to the bargaining table. So let's look at the history in this particular case, not many other presidents that have faced this before. And what they usually do, is almost as a courtesy, is they sign an extension that will allow the government, because there's people whose families aren't eating. There's people who aren't getting paid. TSA people, a lot of government guys that are in the service defending our country. These people need paychecks. They got to send that home to the wife or the husband, and they got to feed those children. They're not getting paid. So the shutdown does hurt people that really do a valuable job and deserve to have their money in a timely fashion. So let's move that aside, and let's look at what this particular blockage by the Democrats. It's the Democrats that have not voted to allow this, the usual thing, which is here's some extra time, here's some extra money, let's figure this out. They won't do that. Why won't they do that? Well, so the Democrats who created the problem of paying, remember there's veterans in this country that can't get proper health care. There's homeless people, American citizens that do not have health care, that do not have many different things that they could use. They're Americans they could use. Instead, the Democrats have decided, because Trump has shut down a lot of programs that a lot of their friends were getting fat on, they've said, we're not signing this extension. We're not going to allow the military and TSA and other really valuable safety programs to be fed. their families don't get food, they don't get a check. Until you sign this deal with these things attached to it. And so they're using this situation to stop the Republicans from getting a quick fix to paying everybody, and then we'll figure it out. They're using it as a political tool in order to get things put through. One of the biggest ones is, follow the bouncing ball. They want to fund and pay for illegal aliens in the country to have health care, for them to get a lot of the programs that they had before under Biden. Why? Why do the Democrats want that? Well, they lost the last election. They lost by 2.5 million votes, and they lost all 7 swing states. So they strategically took millions and millions of immigrants from other countries that entered illegally and bused them to these areas in these states, knowing that if they get them their right to vote, it will change the Electoral College and it will allow the Democrats to win elections again. So Trump has said, no, these people are going to leave. We're not paying for them. We're not spending our money on them. And we're not sending hundreds of billions of dollars to the Ukraine. And we're not doing a lot of this crap. We're not. So while people get on his ass about playing golf and how many millions of dollars that cost for the president over the 4 years, remember that we already bought in Elon Musk to save us over $1 trillion in cutting in funding. So go play golf. Go play golf. If it's $1 million a round and he plays 50 rounds, it's $50 million. There were cuts that were made. There were hundreds of millions of dollars for people that had TV stations in Lebanon. I mean, like crazy crap. Did you not look at this? So this is a game, a chess game that's going on. But here's what we notice if you're really, really watching this carefully. It's gotten really quiet. It's gotten really quiet. Funding bill blocked on day 22. Senate Democrats have again blocked Republicans' stopgap funding bill from advancing in a 54-46 vote after making clear earlier today they believe it is on Republicans, including President Donald Trump, to change the strategy and negotiate with them. So think about that statement right there. This is from CNN. CNN wrote that. So those guys are definitely very, very attached to the left and not a Republican news program. Not outright BS that comes out of CNN. But including President Donald Trump to change strategy and negotiate with them. So in good faith, we've extended this money, and we've extended it to make sure that our veterans are paid, to make sure our active military are paid, to make sure our airports are safe, to make sure. They said, no, you're going to negotiate with us. So they are holding the gun to the heads of the Republicans and blaming the president because they're using this as a tool to do it. But if you look, remember what I said, they're not even talking that much about it. We're not going to get back together. Trump says he's canceled anticipated meeting with Putin, and it just didn't feel right to me. So I watched a couple of the interviews, and Trump went, yeah, no, I'm not gonna meet with them. I'm not gonna meet with them. No, didn't feel right. So what's the translation? You have to try to read between the lines on this. I think he feels like Putin isn't going to do what is necessary to bring peace or a ceasefire to the Ukraine. I don't think he's prepared to do that. So why go meet? Why go do another session? Why go? That's going to force the Americans into a situation where we have to fund again something to do for the Ukraine so they don't get the crap bombed out of them and lose that war. We definitely don't want Putin and Russia to take all of the Ukraine. It might come down to giving them a couple of pieces of property in order to stop the killing, which is probably a smart idea for Zelensky. But again, Trump's being quiet about Putin and the war going on there. Top Dems block 12 GOP bid to reopen government as Trump says Dems lost the negotiation. They're calling it the Schumer shutdown. So there's Chuck Schumer. I'm not a fan. I think that he has an agenda that has to do with getting back for his friends and his compadres certain monies that have been taken from them because they were abusing the system. And he's going to do everything he can to try to get that reinstituted so his buddies who got him elected and keep him in office are happy and are making the money they were making before at the expense of you, the American people, and me. That's my summation on that. But again, distracting, not the big issues. So when that happens, I always look at what's coming. An Epstein vote on the Epstein files, which would exonerate Trump of being the one that releases it and his administration. If it comes down to a congressional vote, if it comes down to a Senate vote, that paperwork comes out, I think you're going to find my theory will be accurate. My prediction on this matter will be accurate. There's going to be some people there that are, ooh, listen to the dogs. Can you hear that? Boys! So what happens is there's foxes that go through my backyard by the lake. And when they hear, or the coyotes, they hear them howl a little. I have a pretty big white German Shepherd, Boba, and an English Mastiff, Rufus, who's 160, 170. And he's out there, and they're howling away when they hear those coyotes come in. Because, some coyotes, they travel, they send a female in, and they want to bait the male dog out of the backyard, and then 8 of them jump on him. Rufus is like, come on over. I'll eat a coyote for a snack. So they're howling away. I do my show right out of the house, right here in my basement studio. So anyway, Jeffries rips ICE as out-of-control claims Americans have turned on Trump over immigration. What is this guy Jeffries' problem? I know everything that Trump says he disagrees with. He comes out with these really elongated speeches that wind around and say the same thing like on a tape. But it won't matter what Trump or the administration does. If they gave free health care, the greatest health care in the world, to everyone on the planet, and we figured out a way to do that, and we've elongated life expectancy by 20 years at the stroke of a pen with this new golden liquid, whatever you want to call it, whatever. He would say, well, the golden liquid, what are the long-term effects, and how much will golden liquid, and what about, and the color gold, and gold is worth X amount of dollars as a metal, but here, it doesn't matter what the fuck you say with this guy, he just bitches and whines about it. He's a bitch. He is. I'm sorry. This he's just a crybaby. I get so tired of listening to his shit. It just makes me like, I got to sift through it when I'm doing my work and listen to this guy do these speeches with the same mundane tone, about how tough he is. And, come see me then if you have a problem, like he's some badass. I'm 65. I'd knock this fucking guy out in 30 seconds. That fast, it would be over. So maybe we could set that up. Little Baldwin Jeffries match. We'll donate the money to charity. How about to the veterans? Ooh, I like that. So it's gotten very quiet. So why has it gotten so quiet? What's the theory? What's the theme? What do I think is coming? Something's coming. Mark my words. In the next 10 days, something big is going to happen. Something crazy is going to happen. There's going to be some, violent act. There's going to be some assassination attempt on somebody. There's going to be some revolt. The Epstein files are going to be released, or something's going to be leaked. I can just feel how quiet everybody's getting, how subdued they are. Like both sides know something big is coming. I can feel it. Now I know we have, as it's been predicted by Harvard astrologists, we're going to be visited by alien ships. They're coming in. It's end of October. So I think it's not supposed to be until the very end of November, early December, that this Atlas 31 is supposed to be really close to it, or as close as it's going to get. But is that a mothership that's going to release a bunch of smaller ships and all this other stuff? So again, like I told you, if you don't think that there are powers that be that have enough power to do that, what they did over New Jersey. Do you not remember the drones and the lights and everything? You don't think they would stage some type of alien invasion? Remember when you watched the civil unrest in Los Angeles, that was like 2 blocks. But they had, tanks moving in and Bradley vehicles and SWAT teams and cars burning down the block, 6, 7, 8, police cars burning. All of it staged. All of it was staged, I believe. I believe that they ramped that up, but nowhere else in Los Angeles was that bad. So could they fly, 50 drones over 2 U.S. cities and start beaming at shit and using lasers that they used to start fires in Hawaii, that they used to start fires in the Pacific Palisades? They have that technology. They have weather control now with HARP in Alaska. Listen, the show's about to start, man. This is about to get... There's a war going on, a political war going on right now between the old school Democrats and the Republicans. The new guard is definitely the Republican Party versus the Democrats. The Democrats want it to stay the way it is. Their 1% are making hundreds and hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars. They don't, listen, you have a couple $100,000 put away in the bank for, tough times. I don't know how many, not a lot of American citizens can say that. Let's address the family that has $500 in the bank. And they keep that there, that nest egg, if something bad goes on. They can't account for over $1 trillion. They don't know if we're missing $1 trillion. I think $1 trillion. Tommy, you had it. It's that crazy. They don't know where $1 trillion is under Biden. Not sure where that went in the mattress. That's the shit that they're pulling on us. You think they can't pull what looks like an alien invasion to scare the shit out of you and lock you in your house like COVID? You think they won't throw another COVID, another type of a bug that carries some disease that kills you in 10 days, and if you don't get this shot, you can't go to work. They won't try that under Trump. They'll start the disease in Trump's last year. It'll start winding up. It'll start getting bad, and then they'll fix the election so a Democrat can come in and make hundreds and hundreds of billions and billions and billions of dollars on the cure and the vaccination for this terrible disease. And, Trump didn't handle it. Why would they not do the same thing over again? Why would they not do the same thing they had so much success doing? It's coming. It worked too well. Why would they not do it again? You take care of your family, your tribe. You're a Jew in New York, you take care of, your Jewish friends, your community. The Jews have a reason, the Holocaust and stuff, to look out for each other and make sure that they take care of themselves and look out for each other. And when you spend money in the Jewish community, it rolls over in the Jewish community amongst their friends and their people 6, 7, 8 times before it leaves the community. You can't say that in the Spanish community. You can't say that in the Caucasian community. You can't say that in the Christian community. The Jews are very smart that way. Very, very smart economically and with money. You think they're not going to stick together and look out for each other? They are. We're Americans before anything else. Forget about I'm an Irish American, I'm an English American, I'm this and that, whatever you are. But we're Americans. And let me tell you something. We're getting played, man. We're getting played. And so I come out and I tell you stuff on this show that I know is happening that's unjust, that I have theories about, or I have some sources that tell me things about them, but we're getting played. And guess what? This week, it's gotten really quiet. And that always scares the shit out of me. It always scares the crap out of me when Democrats and Republicans are being pretty quiet. That means something really big is coming. So, in my opinion, watch out over the next 10 days because it's coming. And now, Lord God, thank you very much, Lord, for your protection and your guidance. For all the people that watch and listen to the show, I thank you for them. And Lord, I ask you to protect them and to guide them also. Keep their families safe, keep our country safe, and allow us to continue to prosper. In your name we pray. Amen. Hey, listen, I try not to ask too much, but if you can hit follow and you can subscribe and you can share the show or the link to the show or get the word out, send your comments. It helps me to keep the lights on. I don't make any money on the show. I lose money every week on the show. With the people I have to pay to edit it and load it up, and I don't pay myself anything for the show. I like to get out there and I like to tell people what I know. I have a famous family. My brothers are actors, as a lot of you probably know. And they all do their own thing. We're very different politically. I don't mesh with any of my brothers, all three of them. So I want to keep bringing it to you. I want to keep telling you what I know. If I could really let some people have it the way they deserve it, I would. I hint around about certain political figures, but it's still more, and I keep predicting things that every year, 2 or 3 of the biggest ones I predict come true. Exactly the way I said they were going to come true. You would have believed me more if I had actually aired, I think they're going to shoot Donald Trump tomorrow. And I told my wife the night before Butler, I said, oh my God, I think they're going to shoot him. Now, I'm not sitting here claiming to be some clairvoyant or whatever, but sometimes I get these weird messages or coincidence of things that come out off of paper, or I'm watching something online and I notice something very different than what everyone's talking about. And I wonder what that's suggesting. Because in my prayers, I ask God, please don't let me miss the signs. I think as human beings, we have a tendency to stay focused on what we want to see, and we forego things that are obvious signs to us. And so I ask God, please don't let me miss the signs, Lord. And some things are so apparent. Like I hope the really non-redacted Epstein files come, so you can see some of these people that you voted for and I voted for. Some of these people who are really such scumbags. I mean, they really are. Following the money through USAID, and some of the people we're talking about in today's show, just padded it, man. They made so much money, so much. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And they went after Elon Musk for telling people, hey man, this is really bad. And that guy did it voluntarily. He just said, look, it's really bad, it's broken, it needs to be changed. And that's what most of this stuff with the Democrats are doing right now, blocking this funding bill. We took away their candy jar. That's it. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, they were all stuffing their hands in it, and they want it back. It makes a lot of their constituents who behind closed doors are saying, you better get that money back. That fund pays all our golf outings, our vacation homes, our cars, our kids going to Ivy League schools. Well, this is that group. This is that group, and we took that away from them, and they're pissed. So the job of these people that they helped get elected, that also benefit from that war chest of money, is to go ahead and do everything they can to stop Trump from taking away their source, the golden goose. He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop. And they know. That's why they've tried to kill him a couple of times. They tried to kill the guy. They're not going to stop. They'll try to kill him again. They will. They'll do something to hamstring him or make up some story about him or indict him. He's bulletproof. Can't you see that? Can't you see this guy was called to do this? Try to stop these people and expose them. And if this is what we've seen in not even the first year, imagine what the next 2 years are going to do. The names of people that are going to come out now that he's going to prosecute, that weaponized the judicial system against him like never seen before in American history. It's coming, man. Shh. Listen, it's not that you can hear faint calls of something that's coming. No, you don't hear anything. In the noisiest system in the world, American politics, you don't hear hardly anything right now. Remember I said it. There's a bomb coming. Get ready. God bless.